Welcome in, everyone. It's the Mountaineers Now postgame show. I'm Callihan, and joined with me live from the WVU Coliseum is Christopher Hall. Mountaineers getting the win 80-77 over the number 15 ranked Auburn Tigers, and what is to be the final Big 12 SEC Challenge. That will no longer be a thing moving forward. Let's go ahead and take a look at the stats here. West Virginia shooting 25-54 from the field, 9 of 20 from three, largely from Erik Stevenson, who went 7 of 10 himself. The rebounding numbers 30-31, pretty even there. Points in the paint, Auburn had a pretty big advantage there, 42-24. But as the individual leaders, as I already mentioned, Erik Stevenson, 31 points on the day, a career high, a season high for him. And for Auburn, it was Johnny Broome, 15 points, 7 rebounds, a guy who the Mountaineers saw a couple of years ago in the NCAA tournament at Morehead State. So, Chris, this was a really a tale of two halves. West Virginia came out, played with their hair on fire, and looked like they were going to run away with it. But as we've seen before, leads in college basketball are never safe, especially when you're a team like West Virginia likes to give the ball up all the time. So Auburn came back in the second half and battled. West Virginia coming away with the win. How important was this one for West Virginia?
It was huge. Doesn't you already know the strength of schedule in the Big 12, and then you add this SEC challenge. You grab that win, a challenge that West Virginia has actually struggled in throughout this brief history with the ESPN's Big East SEC challenge. But it's huge going forward. It's got to be another confidence builder. It wasn't just a one-off a week ago when they beat TCU. That's a huge road win on Wednesday, beating Texas Tech, but it's a winless Texas Tech team in conference. So when you beat a team like Auburn, they were 16-4. I mean, if you dug a little deep, they really hadn't beaten anybody. They hadn't beaten a ranked opponent that's still in the top 25. When they beat Arkansas, they were 13th, but Arkansas is no longer ranked now after starting SEC 3-5. So they're in a weak conference, so it's probably going to help West Virginia. Their net was 30, West Virginia's was 25, so it's definitely going to move up points. And a 3-point loss in Morgantown may actually move them up in the net as well. So it's a big win. It's a win when you're 2-6 in the conference that you need for the resume builder. And there's still 10 more games left in this conference, so there's no time to celebrate. They got to go, make sure they don't let TCU knock them off next week after just beating them last week. So they're going to be hungry. They're going to be ready. So they can feel good tonight. But come Monday when they travel to Fort Worth, they better be focused.
Yeah, it felt like there towards the end when Auburn was going on that run, it just felt like at any moment they were going to take the lead and West Virginia was going to lose their confidence and that thing was going to be over with. What did you see as to why that did not happen?
Huggins talks about it. We've talked about it. They made plays in the final moments to pull it away. Now, granted, they went 2-4 from the free throw line. They're down in those last couple of trips. But, Stevenson, you mentioned his game, him hitting those threes there late. As far as the collapse, you got to give Auburn a lot of credit. They hit a lot of tough shots as well to make that comeback. And that's a Bruce Pearl led team. He's an excellent coach. You knew they were going to come out slapping at the ball, reaching, doing everything they can to create more possessions. West Virginia has got to step up in those situations. They can't allow teams to dictate the pace. They can't just stop running offense. They want to play isolation in those moments to be a hero, but it's actually killing them. And that deficit got wiped away. It seemed like fairly quick, but again, when Auburn cut it down to one. Jimmy Bell, they fed Jimmy Bell. He made consecutive baskets, and then they just stopped going to him. Why? He had the matchup all day, 5 or 7 from the field, and he made off 5 of his foul shots. So just keep feeding him. When he got the mismatch, and when Broome was off of him, he had a better mismatch. So they got to figure out, keep feeding the kid the ball, and it'll keep opening everything up outside. When they stop doing it, they just stand there, the ball sits there. And it doesn't do you any good for 4 guards and your forwards to stand along the perimeter and just pass the ball around the perimeter. If you're not moving off the ball, they can just stand there. A lot of easy turnovers came in the process.
Yeah, Trey Mitchell didn't have himself his normal Trey Mitchell like day, but they ended up going with a different lineup there at times with James Okonkwo and Jimmy Bell playing together. Do you think that's a lineup that they can go to more often, or is it going to just kind of be a hit and miss type of thing?
All depending on matchups. That's really what it is. If they have two bigs, if they're going to throw, Huggins has that option, but you've got to limit their minutes on the floor together because Mo at times looks like a sophomore playing at first year at this level. So James is going to have off nights as well. So when they do have off nights, you got to hope others step up. Trey's kind of had a rough go at it the last three games, but we just saw Stevenson go almost a month of a rough stretch. So you expect Mitchell to kind of bounce back. Hopefully Stevenson doesn't revert back to anything. It doesn't mean if he scores 16 that he's struggling, but you can see him steadily building confidence. And when those first couple of shots hit and the crowd's into it, Stevenson he feeds off of it. So Trey, he's finding with his alpha, he's finding his offense is going to help when these other guys are making shots. There's a lot of attention on Trey Mitchell right now, naturally when he's a team's leading scorer in conference play. So he'll come around. They'll find ways to get to him if they keep feeding Jimmy Bell. That'll also help open things up for him.
Yep. So West Virginia will look to go for the season sweep over TCU on Tuesday. That'll be on the road. TCU now has moved up to number 11. So we'll see what they do today. Their game, but obviously another big opportunity for the Mountaineers to add another signature win to their tournament resume. They got one here today, Chris. 80-77 over top 15 team in the country. Got to think that's going to look good on the resume here in about a month or so. So West Virginia 3-point winner over Auburn behind Erik Stevenson's 30-plus point night. For Christopher Hall, I'm Schuyler Callihan. We'll be back here on Tuesday night to recap West Virginia and TCU. Be sure to hit that subscribe button on YouTube at Mountaineers Now and follow us on on Twitter at Mountaineers Now as well. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you guys Tuesday night.